Yo, it's D-Lo. I'm back at it. Alright, so Eddie Hearn says that Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua in 2020 is a must. You know, that this fight has to happen for the fans, this fight has to happen for legacy, this fight has to happen for Undisputed, and to settle who's the top guy in the heavyweight division. And he says that he wants this fight to happen immediately after the Pulev fight. I mean, and by immediately, I don't mean like 2 months later. I'm sure he's saying that'll be AJ's next fight in 2020 after the Pulev fight. But my big question is, when is the Pulev fight? I mean, AJ took care of the rematch with Andy Ruiz way back in December. Here we are approaching mid-February. You know, next week we'll be in the middle of February, and still no announcement on the Pulev fight. You get conflicting stories coming out of each side. You know, what Pulev said he wants to take the fight to Bulgaria or this place or that place, and then you get Eddie Hearn saying they want the fight in the UK. And my thing is that if you're having this hard a time making a fight with your mandatory, a fight that nobody really wants to see, and a fight that could have happened a couple years ago before AJ lost the title, but didn't happen for one reason or another. I know Pulev pulled out of the fight and Takum replaced him, but that fight was never revisited. And to me, it's like this fight is too hard. It seems too hard to make for such a routine defense. I mean, I'm sorry, but Pulev is not making any noise. He's not a big mover and shaker in the heavyweight division. This fight should be pretty simple, cut and dry. Make the man an offer that makes sense. Get the fight made. Get it over with. I mean, it's that simple. It doesn't make any sense in the world to be dragging on like it is. And to me, if Matchroom Boxing really had designs on making the Wilder fight after that fight, should Wilder, and of course, the caveat is Wilder has to beat Fury, but should Wilder beat Fury, or even if it's the other way around, should Fury beat Wilder, they should be still trying to make the fight with him as well. If that really was their design, then you got to go ahead and get this Pulev fight out of the way. Get it made so your fighter can start preparing for it. Get it on the books as soon as possible. Get it over with so that you guys can go through this lengthy negotiation or whatever kind of negotiation has to take place to get the Wilder fight made and start promoting that fight should it get agreed to. But when it's this hard for you to make a fight with your mandatory and a guy who really doesn't have any kind of clout, any cachet in the heavyweight division, that makes me think it's going to be pretty doggone hard for y'all to come to your senses and make a reasonable offer, or even agree to a reasonable offer to fight Deontay Wilder. Because the Pulev, like I said once again, the Pulev fight should be easy to make. Should have already been made. That fight should have been pretty much made going into the Ruiz fight immediately after that. Okay, we win. This is what we're going to do. Here you go. Here's your king's ransom. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way because you're holding up my legacy fight. You're holding up the sport of boxing. You're holding up the heavyweight division. But for some reason, that seemed not to compute or equate with the other side, with the Matchroom side. So that, you know, so that kind of leads me to think that Matchroom has got to a point, or maybe it's AJ himself has gotten to a point that he's not trying to be reasonable when it comes to these to his opponents. And I'm not even talking about opponents that are at or near his level as far as name recognition. I'm talking about a mandatory defense. I mean, we've seen Ruiz had to squeeze him out to get more money in the fight. We've seen Miller. I think Miller ended up having to come back to the table to get more money, and he killed the fight anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And even like Luis Ortiz, when they made him that offer, you know, all he asked for was the same thing that Miller was being paid, and that was too much for him. So it was like, to me, and Now, I do feel like Ortiz should have took the fight, but we also know that Ortiz had that Wilder fight pretty much in his back pocket. You know, so I can understand that as well. I mean, he probably wanted to make at least what he was making for the Wilder fight, and that wasn't happening as far as the rumor of what he made anyway. But that's neither here nor there. My point is that AJ's side has to do what they have to do to get this Pulev fight out of the way if they're serious about making a fight with Deontay Wilder anytime soon, or Tyson Fury, should Fury be victorious. They don't need to let this Pulev fight drag on. Then next thing you know, it's June and the fight still hadn't happened yet. They need to get this fight scheduled within the next couple of weeks. Do what they got to do to make Pulev happy, so that they can go ahead and AJ can fight him and get him out of the way, so he can go back to obscurity or wherever it was he came from. D-Lo 404 Boxing. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to Marlo's Corner, Trey X, and the whole block fam. I'm out. Peace.